Yo, what is up? It is your boy Zither, back at it again with part 5 of What If Deku Was Kota's Brother? Now, on the last part, we had essentially left off with the Stain arc. Deku had picked this hero named Tsunami. He had gone on an internship with the hero Manuel, along with Ida. He also ended up saving Ida, and we also had gone over the rescue race as well as the finals, and we pretty much left off with some good old, just some good old studying with, Uraraka, Bakugou, some good old studying with Deku and Trice, just some average studying, nothing too crazy, just a little bit of studying, little some, right? So, that being said, we're going to pick things right off after the finals, the very next day. So, the very next day, Deku would wake up and text Bakugou asking him if he's ready, as Bakugou would tell him that he already knows he's ready, as Deku and Bakugou would just smile mischievously, knowing what they're planning, as Deku and Bakugou, they'd proceed to get dripped the fuck out. Like, come on now, they gotta get dripped out. And as for Deku, he gonna go ahead and get his drip up. So he gonna put on a white button up, clean ass white button up, some dark blue chinos, and some sexy white sneakers with a sexy watch. Everybody knows that shit look fire. He gonna do his hair a little bit, get that shit perfect. Bakugou gonna come dripped out too. Can't forget about my boy Bakugou. So he ends up getting something a little different. Bakugou would actually come in with a denim button up, some fire black jeans, and some white sneakers, as well as some jewelry. And Trice and Uraraka, do I even gotta say anything, bro? They came out dripped out too. Come on now. And they both came out in some pretty fire dresses. I don't know too much about girl stuff, so let's just assume that they came with some pretty cool dresses, right? So, Uraraka, she was struggling a little bit, but Trice came in and she ended up helping her out a little bit with the dress department. And in terms of the date, they would proceed to, have a pretty nice night. They're eating, they're having a pretty cool little, double date, I guess you could say. But, I'm gonna go ahead and skip all the jibber jabber. And afterwards, after the date's done, they go ahead and do a little bit of studying, and this is what Deku and Bakugou were looking forward to. They just wanted to really increase their intelligence, really hit the notebooks, they really want to get to know it. They really want to get to know their math, their reading, their science, everything. They really want to study. They want to study like crazy, right? And so, Uraraka and Trice proceed to stay over to study a little bit. And after that, we're going to go ahead and skip over to the day of the bus ride when they're on the way to the forest training arc. So, the journey is gonna be a lot different. So, this time, everything essentially goes the same up until they arrive. And when Mandalay says that, they're gonna have to walk over there, Deku's just like, she would proceed to throw them all off of the cliff as Deku's just like, did you really have to do that? As he's falling down. And she's like, sorry. As she says, I'll see you there, Deku. As, Deku's just like, okay. As, Deku's just sitting there like, well, guess it's time to go. As the rest of the class would have actually landed on water. They would have actually been fine. As Deku would then say, well, hurry up, let's get started. As they're all like, what the hell? We can't. There's monsters in there. As Deku says, calm down. They're just mud monsters. We'll be fine. As everybody's just like, okay. And so, Bakugou, Deku, Trice, Todoroki, Ida, all the strong people, they proceed to start whooping some ass. And I'm just going to say it. They get 1 hour chip off of their normal time in canon. So they arrive a lot sooner than before. So, when they all arrive, everybody's a little tired. And Deku, he's actually quite fine. He didn't really get too tired. He was taking it kind of easy. And when they arrive, this is when Deku would see Kota. And he would say, hey. As Kota would say, hey, big bro. As the class would just be like, big bro. As Deku would just say, yeah, this is my brother Kota. As they'd all be like, oh, hey, Kota, what's your quirk? As he would say, oh, I basically have the same quirk as big bro, but mine's a little weaker. As they would say, well, anything close to his is good enough. Don't you think? This kid is way too strong. As Kota would just smile and say, yeah, and I'm going to become a hero just like you guys someday. As they would all proceed to just chuckle a little bit. As, they proceed to have a good time. They eat, and Kota's actually sitting with Deku and Trice, just having a pretty good time. Just enjoying life, honestly. And we're going to go ahead and skip over to the hot springs. The hot springs at night. So, this is going to go a little different. When Mineta actually goes up, Kota's just like, You perv! And he punches him in the face as Mineta goes flying down. As when Kota looks over there, he would proceed to see Trice and all of the other girls as he just like falls down and passes out. As Deku would create like a sort of water pillow under him as he then says, this kid. As he then takes him to his aunt as he's like, yeah, can you like take care of him? He ended up getting a little peek over to the girl's side, and I'm guessing it was a little too much for little boy. As Mandalay would say, oh, that's... And Deku and her would just proceed to start laughing. Oh my god. Right. They proceed to start laughing a little bit. As, you know, the very next morning when Kota wakes up, Deku starts making fun of him. As Kota's just like, I didn't even know. I didn't know what to expect. As, you know, they would just laugh a little bit. As Deku would say, well, I gotta go train. As he would then ask Kota if he wants to train with him. As Kota would actually smile and think that, yeah, he's always gonna be down to train with his big bro. As they proceed to train their quirks together, as Deku would be teaching Kota how to use them. And in terms of for his thing, he would essentially be doing endurance training. And Trice, she would actually be focusing on running. She would just try to get faster. That's all she does. She runs all day, no breaks at all. And this ends up draining a lot out of her as well as everybody else. So the day ends and they're all pretty tired. So this is the time when, you know, they all cook their food, and Deku ends up asking Kota if he wants to, you know, just go eat his food by himself and talk about things. As Kota's just like, okay. As, you know, they serve themselves some curry and then walk off to Kota's spot. As Deku would say, wow, it's been a while since mom and dad, huh? As Kota would say, yeah, I kind of missed them. As Deku would say, me too. It kind of sucks that you didn't get to know them as much as I did. As Kota would say, what were they like? I mean, I know what they were like, but I mean, like, how are they? Like, what were they like as heroes? As Deku would say that they were amazing. They were the best heroes and best parents anybody could have ever asked for. Kota knows that from personal experience, as Deku and Kota would proceed to just talk about them. As Kota and Deku were just sitting there, this is when Muscular would appear saying, looks like mommy and daddy won't be here to protect you this time. As Deku would get up and be like, what the hell are you? As Kota would say, you take that back. As he would shoot a large amount of water at Muscular. As Muscular would feel it and be like, wait, what the hell? That water, you must be related in some way to those heroes who ended up taking my eye. As he would take off the coat that he was wearing, as he then shows Kota who he is. This is when Deku would just have that process in his mind as he then thinks, it's him. He killed him. He killed them. As he would then say, Kota, leave. As Kota would then look at his big brother as he then says, but as Deku says, leave. Now. As Kota would just look at his brother and he would see an anger that he had never seen in his big brothers. As Kota would just run off. As Deku would then create a scythe out of water with one of his hands. As he would create a buzzsaw on the other. And he would then say, it's time to get down to business. As Muscular would laugh and say, you don't think some water weapons can really kill me, do you? As Deku would say, oh, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to hurt you. Really, really bad. Kind of like the Joker from Jared Leto. The trash version. And, you know, as, you know, Deku would proceed to do that. As Muscular would say, bring it on, kid. As Deku would proceed to rush at Muscular. Muscular would punch him, but he would turn into water as he would then go straight through him. And Deku would then stab the scythe straight through Muscular's muscles. As, you know, it would actually pierce straight through him. As Muscular would be like, what the hell? As he would then proceed to try to attack at Deku, but Deku just turns into water, becoming intangible. And every time he would just proceed to attack him with relentless blows. As Deku would proceed to use his scythe to cut up Muscular, giving him small cuts and bruises. As much pain as he can possibly give to Muscular. As he would then create a water bubble that traps Muscular inside of it as he lifts it up into the air and starts condensing it as much as possible, as the bubble just starts condensing Muscular. As Muscular is just screaming in agony. As Deku would pop it, as Muscular would then fall into the ground, as he would then say, your parents couldn't kill me, what makes you think that you can? As Deku would say, because I'm stronger. As Deku would proceed to look at Muscular, he then says, and your time is up. As he would then point 2 fingers at Muscular's, he then starts moving them in a weird way. As Muscular's body just begins to move in weird ways that Muscular's just not doing himself. As Deku would then explode him from the inside out. As all of the blood would splatter everywhere, and Deku would create a water shield in front of him so he wouldn't get himself dirty. As Muscular would be everywhere. As Deku would then be in an anger. As he would then rush towards Kota as he grabs him and says, hey, I need to take you to the heroes. They'll keep you safe. I need to go take care of these villains. As Kota would say that, okay. As, he does not want to, deal with his brother in this state. He's not in the right state of mind. So Deku would take Kota to, Aizawa, as he would then see the fake clone of Dabi. As Deku would realize that there's more of them. As Deku would then proceed to create portals along the way, starting to deal with any of the villains. The first one would be the Tokiyami. As Deku would just create a giant tsunami to hit Tokiyami with knocking him out. As Deku would then proceed to fly off as he then sees Moonfish. Deku would snap Moonfish's teeth like a twig as he would then grab his head and smash it into the floor. As he would then smash his head in repeatedly, leaving him in a very bad state. As Deku would then teleport over to Toga. As he could then see that he was about to stab Uraraka. And that was not gonna fly. Deku would grab the knife and stab it into herself and proceed to slash at her belly. As he then says, you like blood? We'll have all of it. As, her blood would just start spewing out. As Deku is not in the right state of mind at all. That bastard who killed his parents they're working with him. They're probably just as bad, and they've probably killed even more. As Deku would go in the forest and just start annihilating any of the villains that get in his way. Spinner and Magma, well, Deku would go in there and it would be a one-sided massacre. As Deku would go on a rampage, taking down every villain that he can, including the Nomu. Deku would appear and crush the Nomu's brain with 2 giant hammers. As he would smash it in, then the Nomu would die. As Deku would then teleport back to Bakugou, who is now in a small orb. As Deku would say, damn it, I wasted too much time. As he would then blitz over to Dabi. But right before he could even jump in the portal, it would close. But before that, Deku would shoot a sort of, Deku would shoot a little bit of water in there before it could have closed all the way. As Dabi would then say, well, we managed to get away with the kid. So what now? As, Shigaraki would then say, great, where are the rest of them? As Dabi would say that kid, he picked them off one by one, and most of them are probably in critical condition. As they all begin to think that they got away. Oh, sorry, no, not Dabi. He actually got massacred along with them. It would be Compress, sorry. Compress would say that they barely got away. As, a portal would then open. The water that Deku had shot in there would forcibly open as Deku steps out, and Bakugou just sitting there as he would then smile towards Deku, and Deku would look that he's fine. As Deku would then break the restraints off Bakugou, and he and Bakugou would proceed to take down Shigaraki and Dabi. Deku would take Shigaraki down by shooting water at him and encasing him in a sort of water prison, as Dabi would struggle to breathe as he would get knocked out from lack of oxygen. Shigaraki, on the other hand, would have gotten a howitzer impact straight to the face and would have been in critical condition, as All For One would then be forced to teleport over there. As All For One would appear, he would then laugh and clap. Good job, heroes. I guess they are training you guys very well. As he would then look towards Deku and raise his hand as he then holds it out in a choking position, and Deku just starts to choke himself. As Deku would say, he's using the force, telekinesis. As Deku would just be like, what the hell? As All For One would then proceed to slam him into the wall. As Deku turns into water before he can hit, and Deku would then, create up puddles everywhere. As Deku would create a teleport out of them and into them and out of them, kind of like the crystal mirror technique that Haku used. As he would proceed to blitz around All For One, as All For One would then say, enough! As he would then have a giant attack go in all directions, omnidirectional. As it would then proceed to hit a large amount of buildings as everything would clear up. And this is when Deku and Bakugou would decide that there's no getting out of there unless they beat him. There's no way that they can escape. As, Deku and Bakugou would decide that, you know what, they have to do this. This is the big and bad. They're going to take him out together. As they would look towards each other, and Deku would calm down a bit at this point, as he would then decide that he has to be rational about this. As Deku and Bakugou would proceed to try to fight him, Deku would open portals for Bakugou that Bakugou would shoot explosions, as they would proceed to be side by side, throwing blows and kicks, as All For One would just be blocking and using some sort of hardening quirk that would have made all that damage be damn near minimal. As Deku and Bakugou would then be, having a pretty good time, as All For One would then say that this is enough. He's tired of playing these games, as he would shoot a black tendril straight into Bakugou's shoulder, as it would pierce him and right into the stomach as well, as Bakugou would go down. No noise, no breathing. Bakugou was... As Deku would just look, as he sees Bakugou bleeding out, as Deku would hold out his hand, as a giant water hand would appear and grip on All For One's mask, as he would then shatter it, causing All For One to have trouble breathing, as Deku would then say, "I'm gonna kill you." As All For One would then begin to be like, huh? As Deku would create a giant tsunami to just start rampaging on All For One's body, as he would then hit him back and forth. The force of the tsunami would just proceed to be too much for All For One, as his body's getting torn limb from limb, as he would begin to shred his body down, as Deku would definitely not be showing any mercy at all, as Deku would finally finish with the attack, as all the water then comes back to him, as All For One would then chuckle and say, "It doesn't matter if you kill me. That brat of yours won't ever come back. He's gonna stay dead." As Deku would just look at him with a stare that All For One would have never seen from anybody except for All Might. As Deku would then stare at him, as Deku would then start moving his hands in the way that he did for Muscular, as his blood inside of him would begin to move around as he's about to get exploded. But before he can, Bakugou would grab Deku's leg and say, "Wait, don't do it, Deku," as he spits out blood and says, There's cameras around. If you do this, nothing's gonna be the same." As Deku says, "But look at what he did to you, Bakugou. Can you truly tell me that this is what you want? I'll kill this bastard and everybody who's associated with him. That way nobody else can ever get hurt." As Bakugou would say, "Come on, Deku, be rational. That bastard may be scum, but this is not the way." As he would then say, "Is this what your parents would have wanted?" As Deku would just think. As he would then say, fall to his knees and say, "Ah!" Release like a war cry, as the news would pick up on that. And everybody would have been watching, including All Might and Trice, who would have actually arrived there at the situation late. All Might would arrive and pick up Deku as well as Bakugou, as he would then rush them both to the emergency room, as both of them would have definitely sustained some damage from the battles. As Deku and Bakugou would recover, and this is when Deku would actually be all over the news as the kid who took down the big and bad of the underworld. A couple of villains would have actually given up, seeing that this kid was able to take him down. Heck, he might even be able to be stronger than All Might one day, as they would decide that they're not going to turn to villainy. They don't want to end up like him, as a lot of them would actually give up on that. But one villain in particular, he would think that with him gone, it's his time. This villain being Shisaki. And this is when we're going to cut over to Deku and Bakugou healing up, as Trice and Uraraka would appear in front of them, asking them if they're okay. As Deku would say, "Yeah, he's fine. He just has a little bit of injuries." As Trice would smack him over the head and say, "How could you do that? That was so reckless." As Deku would say, "Bakugou's safe, isn't he?" As Uraraka would rush over to Deku and hug him as she says, "Thank you so much." As Deku would say, "Yeah, it's no problem." As Bakugou would say, "Hey, what about me?" As she would say, "You let yourself get captured." As Bakugou would say, "Damn it." As they would all proceed to laugh a little bit, as Deku and Uraraka and Momo, what the hell, and Trice and Bakugou would proceed to just, be happy that everything ended up okay for now. this is when we're gonna go ahead and go over. Hold on. What arc comes next? Should I finish this? Should I finish the series, or should I give you guys a part 6? I don't know, man. A lot of you guys probably would like a part 6, so you know what? Alright, guys. I low-key can't do anymore, but honestly, I wasn't even going to go over the provisional exams that much. To be honest, nothing really changes, except, I mean, everybody in Class 1A will actually end up passing this time, and the provisional hero license arc is actually one of my least favorite ones to cover, so yeah, that goes to canon. They all pass. Trice, she's there. Makes everything easy. Deku blocks all the balls, and they all actually end up passing flawlessly. Deku ends up, fighting against, the gang Orca, and let's just say it's a one-sided massacre. Ain't nothing that Orca can do is gonna stop Deku. So, yeah, that's essentially how that goes down. But with that being said, guys, it has been your boy Zether with part 5. Or wait, no, part 5 of What If Deku Was Kota's Brother. And if you guys are gonna be wanting part 6, you guys are definitely gonna be having to smash the like button. I'm gonna need 300 likes for part 6. But with that being said, it has been your boy Zether, and I